Okay, we'll call the meeting of the Chino City Council and the successor agency to the redevelopment agency to order. This is a special meeting that we're holding here at the Preserve Community Center. Please note that all members with the exception of Mr. Lucio are present. And I'd like to call for public comment on our closed session items, please, before we go into closed session. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on these items? Okay, seeing none. Mr. Galante, would you please read the reasons why we're going into closed session?
Certainly. Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. The City Council will recess into closed session at this time to discuss the sole item on the closed session agenda, namely conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, one item of litigation under the heading significant exposure of litigation. That concludes the announcement of the closed session item.
Okay, thank you. We will be recessing to closed session. Good evening and welcome to the August 7th council meeting. We're off-site tonight. We're at the Preserve at the community building, so welcome those who were able to join us. We're not being shown live this evening, but there will be reruns. So if you'd please stand and join us in the flag salute. Councilman Hargrove is going to lead us this evening.
If everyone place your right hand over your heart, ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Our first proclamation this evening is our National Senior Citizens Day, which is actually August 21st. I'd like to call up Howard Williams, who's the Senior Citizens Club trustee. Howard? Good evening. Howard knows everybody. And the proclamation reads, whereas in August 1988, President Ronald Reagan signed Proclamation 5847 and Congress passed House Joint Resolution 138 proclaiming August 21st as National Senior Citizens Day. Throughout Chino's history, senior citizens have been at the forefront of progress, serving as vital members and leaders of businesses, families, community organizations, churches, and dedicating countless hours of volunteer service to our community. The City of Chino is dedicated to enhancing the quality of life for all senior citizens through recreational programming, educational classes, excursions, and civic engagement. The city also recognizes the value of intergenerational exchange opportunities that allow youth to benefit from engaging with and learning from the knowledge and experience that senior citizens possess. The City of Chino, through the Healthy Chino Coalition, is dedicated to increasing healthy lifestyle options for all members of the community, including senior citizens, who, due to improved health care and healthier living, are one of the fastest growing populations in Chino. The Senior Citizens Club of Chino serves as an advocate, giving voice to seniors throughout Chino, and has been instrumental in working toward the continued growth of senior services, including the creation of the Chino Senior Center more than 31 years ago. And whereas for the many accomplishments throughout their lives and for that continue to contribute, senior citizens are owed a debt of gratitude and a commitment that Chino will remain a good place in which older Americans may participate to the fullest and lead lives in independence and dignity. Now, therefore, I, Eunice Loa, Mayor of the City of Chino, do hereby proclaim August 21st, 2019 as Senior Citizens Day in the City of Chino and urge all residents to recognize the past and present contributions of senior citizens in the community. Howard, would you like to make a comment?
Thank you, Mayor Eunice.
Wow,
I know.
loud.
Thank you for the proclamation for the seniors and everything. And as you know, I belong to the Senior Citizens Club in Chino. It's the seniors. And we appreciate the proclamation. And we enjoy all the activities we have there and everything. And anybody wants to come down, and you do have to be 50 years old, but come down. We have a good organization down there, and they have push you to work too sometimes.
They always put you to work.
Yes, but anyway, thank you very much, and thank you for the council and Mayor Eunice. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Howard. Next, we have the Mayor's Home Beautification Award. I'd like to call up Jeff Scott and his daughter Julianne. They live at 13010 San Marcos Place. Hi. And it reads, Mayor's Home Beautification Award, Jeff and Brenda Scott, 1310010. I just changed your address.
Okay, that's all
San Marcos Place. Thank you for your continued improvement and maintenance of your home, resulting in a substantial contribution to the overall appearance of the community.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
And we have a very nice photo
Very
of
nice,
your
very nice
home.
picture. Thank you.
It is. And then we also have Ari. Okay, we have 2 pen and pencil sets.
Okay.
And
Wow.
we have 2 lapel pins. And of course, the best part now is the coveted
Oh, yes.
Mayor's Home Beautification Award sign to put in front of your house.
I have seen these around town.
You have.
From time to time. Okay. Well, thank you very much for recognizing our residents. I don't know who goes around and checks to see who's going to get these awards, but it's very much appreciated by Brenda and I. And so,
Now, who keeps the property up?
well, it's a shared responsibility between Brenda and myself. So we take a lot of pride in our residents, and we look at it like we take care of the property ourselves. It's a half acre, and we look at it as exercise, not work. And so it's we think it's a good thing. We don't need a gym pass to do it. I felt a little bit of pressure. Brenda's in Nevada right now. I was there yesterday, and I had to drive home so I could be here to accept this award. So on the way home, I go, well, I better stop, and I better when I get home, I better mow the yard, which I did, in case anybody drives by tomorrow. But thank you very much.
Very much. Thank you. Thanks, sweetie. For those that don't know, Jeff and Brenda Scott also are the owners of the Chevron station at the corner of Central and Philadelphia, and they also keep that property very nice. Okay. Mr. Galante, would you please provide a report out of closed session?
Yes, certainly. Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council and audience. The City Council met in closed session and discussed the sole item on the closed session agenda, namely conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation pertaining to one potential case of significant exposure to litigation. City Council received an update of that threat of litigation, provided direction, and no further reportable action was taken. That concludes the report out of closed session, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. And then for information items, I'd like to give an early reminder to please tune in to our September 3rd City Council meeting as the Chino Valley Independent Fire District will conduct a CPR presentation so we can all be prepared to help someone in need when an emergency occurs. Also, at the end of our meeting this evening, I'm going to be adjourning in the memory of Jim Erickson, and I'd like to read some information about him now. After earning his bachelor's degree in 1954 from the University of Redlands, Jim first served his country as a firefighter pilot in the Korean War and later attended law school at the University of Mississippi, earning his LLB and later attending USC, earning his Master's of Law degree. Throughout his career, Jim has earned the respect of his clients and peers. He received an AV rating from the Martindale-Hubbell in 1980, which represents Jim's integrity and commitment to his professional excellence. Among other areas of law, Jim particularly had an expertise for water adjudications. This expertise helped guide significant efforts that have and will continuously help the city of Chino. These include the Peace Agreement, the Peace II Agreement, the formation of the Chino Desalter Authority, and the Preserve EIR. Both the Peace Agreement and the Peace II Agreement helped increase Chino's groundwater production rights and storage reserves. This helped secure the city's future water supply as the city continues to grow. The peace agreements ultimately led to the Chino Basin Desalter Authority, which currently provides approximately 38% of our city's drinking water. Chino's continued progress has been outstanding, and this is due to a collective effort that undoubtedly included the vision, leadership, and unwavering support of Jim Erickson. Jim is survived by his 4 children, and we wish his family the best during this very difficult time, and he will be deeply missed. He represented our city with excellence, and we have him to thank continually in the future for having the ability to serve water to our constituents. Okay, Mr. Ballantyne, do we have any changes or additions to the agenda?
Yes, yes, Mayor. I have one recommended change. I'm requesting that we pull item number 10 and return it to staff for further review. This item pertains to Edison Avenue traffic signal modifications and interconnect project.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. God, flies driving me nuts. Okay, under public announcements, first, please mark your calendars for the last 2 Chino Kiwanis summer concerts on the lawn in front of City Hall. As always, this is a free event with the concerts beginning at 7 p.m. and finishing around 9 p.m. For the next 2 Thursdays, all participants can look forward to Hot August Nights, a Neil Diamond tribute on August 8th, and Bonfire, an AC/DC tribute on August 15th. Food and refreshments will be made available for purchase from the Chino Kiwanis Club. For all questions, please call the Chino Kiwanis Club at 909-334-3486. Additionally, please make note that this Saturday we will be holding another installment of our Chino City Hall is on the Move in front of the Albertsons located at 12013 Central Avenue. Here, all participants will have additional opportunities to engage the City Council, our City Manager, and Department Directors about issues of concern or future projects or programs in the City of Chino. Chino City Hall on the Move will occur from 9 a.m. to noon, so please make sure you find your way out to us and also receive a free reusable grocery bag. For any questions, please call 909-334-3304. And lastly, I would like to give an additional reminder that the August 20th regular City Council meeting will be canceled, with the next regular City Council meeting being held on Tuesday, September 3rd, 2019, beginning at 7 p.m. Okay, next subject on our agenda is public communication. This is the time and the place for the general public to address the council about issues that are not on the agenda elsewhere. We would enjoy listening to your concerns, but we can't take action on anything that's not actually on the agenda. Our first written request to speak is Mr. John Mata. He's from Calvary Chapel, Chino Valley. I invite all those who would like to join us to please stand for an invocation.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Attorney, City Manager, Council members. On behalf of Pastor David Rosales and Calvary Chapel, Chino Valley, it's an honor to be here to represent our community here in prayer. So let us pray. Father, we come to you in the name of Jesus to thank you for the gift of life and for the opportunity to serve the people of this beautiful city of Chino. Help us to act with character and conviction. Help us to listen with understanding and goodwill. Help us to speak with love and grace. Give us the spirit of service. Remind us that we are all servants and stewards of your authority. Guide us to be the leaders your people need. Help us to see the humanity and dignity of those in the city of Chino and to treat all persons with reverence your creation deserves. And Lord, we ask that you continue to guide our mayor with wisdom and discernment. Guide our city manager and our city attorney and all the council members and all leadership that you've entrusted to oversee and lead this city. And finally, Father, renew us in the strength of your presence and the joy of helping to build a community worthy of human persons. And we ask this all in your confidence and your goodness. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. Okay, next we have the consent calendar. The city manager has noted that we have pulled item number 11. Item number 10. Stubby, you did not want 14 pulled, is that correct? Okay. Do any council members wish to have any items pulled? Or the public? Okay, seeing none. One more speaker. Oh, I am sorry. Okay, go back. Before we take action on the consent calendar, I missed a request to speak. We have Lupe Camacho. Her subject is the U.S. Census Bureau. Introduction. Sorry, Lupe.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council and staff, and Chino residents. My name is Lupe Camacho, and I am the partnership specialist assigned by the U.S. Census Bureau to San Bernardino County to assist local communities, local cities in establishing, developing, and putting forth their complete count committees for the U.S. Census. As we all know, the U.S. Census is fast approaching, and this particular year there will be some significant changes to the way that the U.S. Census is carried out. It will be predominantly web-based, followed by telephone inquiries, and then after that there will be some paper ballots that will go out, but that won't be until the very end. So the U.S. Census Bureau is making sure that communities, local communities, are aware of these changes and providing all of this information, connectivity, and as well assistance in developing and establishing your complete count committee for the purpose of making sure that we disseminate this information and that we disseminate it to the individuals which have been historically difficult to reach. City of Chino, as well as many other cities in the San Bernardino County, have areas and pockets in their city that have historically been low response, which means that the individuals in that section have not been counted in the past. Just to give you kind of an overview, in between the last decennial to what we actually have in numbers now, just alone in that, there was a 40% undercount of children in the Inland Empire. And that means 40% less money came to the Inland Empire because they just were not counted. We do meet some challenges, and that is the reason why I am here tonight, to inform you and to introduce myself and offer my assistance. I have met with your assistant city manager, Vivian Castro, and have had a conversation with her regarding how to carry this out, how the Complete Count Committee will assist you in making sure that you target certain groups and certain areas in your city that need some assistance in making sure that they are comfortable, informed, educated, and empowered to be able to get counted. As we all know, there has been also the challenge that we're facing is some of the media that we have been receiving, a lot of media coverage, and so that in and of itself has created a lot of confusion, a lot of ambiguity in the communities and in certain pockets of our cities, and so we want to make sure that we reach out to those areas and that we educate them, inform them, and empower them to be counted, and that they're comfortable with the information. So that is my purpose, why I am here tonight, to obviously offer that and to request a partnership with the City of Chino so that we work together and we can reach out to your community, make sure that the areas, particularly, for example, the preserve area, which is a new area, is considered a hard to count because it's brand new development. And there's a lot of young families that are having children, and children between the ages of 0 and 5 are very, very poorly counted. Actually, that is our second largest group. The first group being the Latino population, and the second group being the children between the ages of 0 and 5. So a lot of people, a lot of residents do not believe that their children need to be counted because they're not in kindergarten yet, but we definitely need them counted because this is for the next 10 years, and in the next 10 years, those children will be moving into kindergarten, elementary school, and so forth. And they need the money so that we can make sure that we have the services available to them for the community, and as well educational schools, and of course our infrastructure is also very highly dependent upon the census, the census count, the decennial count. So that is my reason for being here tonight, and I can answer any questions that you may have regarding the census, anything that you may have had a question about.
Will you be, or will someone be monitoring the results of the web-based information and all of that to see if it's being effective?
Yes, we will be monitoring it. So because I am the direct contact for the U.S. Census Bureau, I will be working with your city to make sure that at the end of it all, you receive information directly about your city and how your residents responded and which pockets or areas or groups were reluctant to respond, or which ones ended up not responding. So the idea here is to make sure that we empower the city at the end of this so that you have this information and you can utilize it for future decennials as well.
Well, perhaps if you see the information is not coming in as expected, maybe you can come back and do another presentation.
Oh yes, we will be giving progress reports as we head into this next decennial. Between now and the end of the year will be predominantly education and encouragement for the decennial, and then once January kicks in is when we begin to become active. So the committee would be active in actually reaching out to the community, and I will assist with making sure that your city is informed of different methodologies, resources, connectivity to other complete count committees, and we make sure that you're fully aware of all of the resources that are at your disposal to make sure that you reach out to your particularly targeted areas.
Okay, well, thank you very much for being here, Lupe.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, those were the only written requests to speak, which I obviously missed one. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on an item that's not on the agenda, who didn't fill out a request to speak? Okay, now we'll go on to the consent calendar. Item number 10 is being pulled for future action, so I would entertain a motion on the balance of the consent calendar.
Move the item.
A motion from Mayor Pro Tem Howie.
Second.
Second from Councilman Hargrove. Roll call vote, please, Angela.
Mayor Pro Tem Howie?
Yes.
Councilmember Hargrove?
Yes.
Councilmember Lucio?
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mayor Ulloa?
Yes.
Motion
Okay.
carried. Thank you.
The item passes unanimously. Next item is public hearing. Prior to the vote of the City Council, any member of the audience will have an opportunity to address the council on any of the items listed under public hearings. Council requests, but it's not required that you state your name and address prior to making any remarks. This is item number 18, Formation of Community Facilities District 2019-1. This item is to conduct a public hearing, hold a special election, and authorize the formation of CFD number 2019-1. Levy of special taxes and incur bonded indebtedness for the proposed CFD, and approve the introduction of ordinance number 2019-12, levying a special tax to be read by number and title only, and waive further reading of the ordinance. So I'd like to declare the public hearing open and ask for a staff report from our Director of Finance, Rob Burns.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. On June 18th of this year, the City Council adopted resolution number 2019-31, declaring the City of Chino's intent to establish Community Facilities District 2019-1, located north of Bickmore and west of Rincon Meadows. The establishment of the CFD will allow the city to levy a facilities tax to pay for the infrastructure required in this area. Tonight's actions are to adopt the required resolutions of formation for the CFD, call for a special election and immediately hold that special election, tally the election results, and then approve the introduction of the ordinance to levy the special tax. So it's recommended that the City Council adopt the proceedings as going to be outlined by the mayor this evening. And that concludes my report, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Rob. Do any members of the council have any questions prior to inviting the public to speak? Okay, seeing none. Are there any members of the public that would like to address this item? Okay, seeing none, then we will close the public. We have one? Okay, gentlemen, would you come up, please?
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Rob, thank you very much for your presentation. I'm Dr. Roberto Casas. I live here in the Preserve, and I just wanted to, not knowing enough about the special levy and special tax that's going to be assessed for this formation of this community facilities district. As I meet with my neighbors here in the Preserve, I need to know that in the area that he described, Bickmore and Rincon Meadows, if just residents from that area is going to be assessed, or from the Preserve going to be assessed a special tax, or is this going to be a tax to all the citizens of Chino?
This is on the area specified in this item only.
Just in this area? Okay. And will the public be notified prior to the taxes being levied, how much that's going to be per household,
I'll have you address that.
and all that? So I just, the other thing is I don't recall receiving any information via U.S. mail. There may have been something on the website on this, but when I mentioned to some of our neighbors it was going to be on the agenda tonight, they didn't recall receiving any information on it. So I just wanted to know before the council took a vote on this, if notification could be sent out to the residents of those that are going to be affected by the special tax. Thank you for your time.
Rob?
Sure, I can provide a little clarification on that. So this facilities tax will only be for that development. There are other facilities tax currently charged to others in the Preserve. Each housing tract has its own facilities tax on their properties. This project currently has no homeowners. We formed these districts prior to the homeowners purchasing any homes. When a homeowner does purchase the home, it's in the documents that they sign. They acknowledge that there is a facilities tax on their property, how much it is, and they have to sign that document along with all their other real estate documents that they sign. We did at the June 18th meeting provide what's called the rate and method of apportionment, and that details out the amount of the tax that is applied to each home in that tract. And it's all based on square footage, so the smaller the square footage, the lower the tax. As homes rise in square footage, the tax increases. And so that was in the June 18th meeting. This meeting here was noticed to all the citizens of Chino, and so anybody that was interested in coming and talking about it could have seen the notice and come and speak tonight. So if you have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you for clarification, Rob. Yes, Mark?
Rob, if you could just explain then, Community Facilities District, what are those fees, what are they utilized for then?
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, sure. There's two types of community facilities districts that we have in Chino. One is a facilities tax, and that goes to essentially pay for all the infrastructure that was required for that community. So when the developer builds the housing tract, it requires water lines, sewer lines, storm drain systems, egress and ingress, I don't know if that's a word, to get into the neighborhood. So this facilities tax goes to repay the bonds that paid for all that infrastructure. So we form this district. When there's enough homes sold, we'll issue bonds. The proceeds from those bonds will go to reimburse the developer for those infrastructure improvements, and their annual tax will go to repay those bonds. Then we also have a services CFD, and that is for city services that are provided by the city to residents in those neighborhoods. And that provides for parkway maintenance, which is basically streets, provides for public safety, which is fire, police, code enforcement, those kinds of things. So we have those two separate and distinct CFDs, and they each have their own separate purpose.
Okay, any other questions of Rob? Okay, any other remarks from the audience or questions? Okay, then we will now close the public hearing. So at this time, we're ready to call for a motion to approve resolutions number 2019-046 and 2019-047.
I move.
Okay, there's a motion from Councilman Lucio.
I second.
Second from Councilman Rodriguez. Roll call vote, please, Angela.
Councilmember Lucio?
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilmember Hargrove?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howie?
Yes.
And Mayor Ulloa?
Yes. The resolutions just adopted authorizes the formation of CFD number 2019-1, the levying of special taxes, and for the CFD to incur bonded indebtedness in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $11 million, contingent upon the results of a special election which will now be held by the City Clerk, Angela Robles, since taxable property owners in the proposed CFD boundaries have received waivers regarding the time to hold the special election. Angela, would you please open the ballots and read the results?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. All ballots have been cast in relation to the special election for the levying of special taxes, incurring bonded indebtedness, and setting an annual appropriations limit for the CFD, and the election has now been closed. The results of the election were unanimous, 21 votes in favor of the propositions. Thank you.
Okay, having heard the statement of the City Clerk declaring the results of the election, I will now entertain a motion to adopt resolution number 2019-048, certifying the results of the election.
So moved.
Motion from Mayor Pro Tem Howie.
Second.
Second from Councilman Lucio. Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Howie?
Yes.
Councilmember Lucio?
Yes.
Councilmember Hargrove?
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mayor Ulloa?
Yes. Item passes unanimously. At this time, we are now ready to approve the introduction of ordinance number 2019-012, authorizing the levy of special taxes pursuant to the rate and method of apportionment outlined in City Council Resolution number 2019-31. Okay, I would call for a motion and a second.
So moved.
Motion from Mayor Pro Tem Howie.
Second.
Second from Councilman Lucio. Prior to the vote, I'll ask our attorney to read the ordinance title into the record.
Thank you. Before the City Council is ordinance number 2019-012, entitled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Chino, acting in its capacity as the legislative body of Community Facilities District number 2019-1, the landings of the City of Chino, authorizing the levy of special taxes within the district. Reading by title only and waiving further reading. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Angela, would you please call the vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Howie?
Yes.
Councilmember Lucio?
Yes.
Councilmember Hargrove?
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mayor Ulloa?
Yes. Okay, that concludes the public hearing. We will now move to the new business item on the agenda. Okay, under new business, item number 19, award of contract Quadrant 1, Phase 1, water main replacement projects at various locations, WA17A, water main replacements at Santa Ana Place, Victoria Street and Ramona Avenue, WA162, Pipeline Avenue storm drain replacement, SD161. This item is to award a construction contract authorizing expenditures for construction management and authorize the city manager to execute the necessary documents on behalf of the city. Staff report this evening will be provided by our CIP manager, Maria Frazier.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members, and audience. The item in front of you today consists of 3 separate projects, 2 water projects and 1 storm drain project, all identified in our Public Works Capital Improvements Program. The first project, WA-17A, also known as Quadrant 1, Phase 1, is a project which is a part of a larger replacement program identified by staff and is also part of our CIP list. The project consists of water replacement of existing water lines along Benson Avenue, 10th Street, Russell Avenue, Lewis Avenue, Park Street, and Franklin Court. The second project, WA-161, is also a water replacement project identified by staff and part of our CIP list, which consists of water line replacements at Victoria Street from Ramona Avenue to Santa Ana Place, Ramona Avenue from Walnut Avenue to Victoria Street, and Santa Ana Place from Victoria Street to about 250 feet north. The third project is SD1, is a storm drain replacement project at Pipeline Avenue, south of Walnut and just north of the railroad tracks. Council approved professional services agreements on October 4th, 2016 with KEC for the design of WA-161, and on April 18, 2017 with SA for the design of WA-17A. The storm drain project plans were prepared by city staff. The final design specs and estimates for WA-17A, WA-162 were accepted and signed by staff on May 8, 2019, and a notice of inviting bids for the three projects was published locally and advertised on Planet Bids. On June 26, 2019, at 10 a.m., 9 bids were received and opened. The low bidder, J.A. Salazar from La Alhambra, California, was deemed to be the lowest responsible and responsive bidder, with a total base bid amount of $2,613,606. Staff is recommending that the city approves the items outlined in the recommendation section of our staff report. I would like to point out that on the recommendations, there shows 4 items. There's actually 3 only, and there's a little bit of a typo. And I'd also like to mention that we received 9 bids, and we listed the top 5 in our staff report. This concludes my report, and I will be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the council on this item? Okay, any comments from council members? Okay, then a motion would be appropriate for approving the item.
So moved.
Motion from Mayor Pro Tem
Seconded.
Howie. Second from Councilman Rodriguez. Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Howie?
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilmember Hargrove?
Yes.
Councilmember Lucio?
Yes.
Mayor Ulloa?
Yes. Item passes unanimously. Next on the agenda is mayor and council reports. On Wednesday, July 17th, I attended the mayor's prayer breakfast and then took a tour of NFI Industries, which is an amazing third-party logistics company that was founded in 1932. It's still family-owned. It's located in the southern part of Chino, and they have facilities across the continental United States. We are really fortunate to have them in our community. Thursday, the 18th, I attended the Watermaster Advisory Committee meeting, Watermaster Recharge Improvement Program Committee meeting, and the Watermaster Storage Workshop number 2. That evening, I attended the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce 2019 Business Awards and Recognition Dinner. Chino Commercial Bank was awarded the Chino Business of the Year. Chino Kiwanis Club was awarded the Nonprofit of the Year, and Waste Management was given the Chairman's Award. Chino Hills Councilman Peter Rogers was named the Outstanding Chino Valley Citizen of the Year by Champion Newspapers. Saturday the 20th, I briefly stopped by Assemblyman Freddie Rodriguez's summer barbecue, which was very nicely attended. On Thursday the 25th was Chief Karen Comstock's Walk of Honor and Reception. That was an amazing event. There was many agencies and many members of the public that turned out for that. It was the largest Walk of Honor I'd ever attended. It was such a testament to how highly she's thought of in our community. And then that afternoon or late morning, was Watermaster Board of Directors. Jim Erickson was honored again there, and a plaque was presented to his daughter. 8 speakers were there voicing their concerns about any possibility of water from the Cadiz project being imported into the Chino groundwater basin. And then there was also an informational item regarding the contaminant 123 TCP presence in various wells within the the Chino groundwater basin. As you'll recall, when the state suddenly changed the allowable limits of 123 TCP, Chino took immediate emergency action to ensure that our drinking water complies with the new regulations. Then on August 1st, attended the Monte Vista Park Splash Pad grand reopening. That's a 7-acre park that was built in 1975 on the site of the former D Street School. The old splash pad was 13 years old and was at the end of its life cycle, plus other parts of the park needed upgrading. So the city applied for and received a almost $675,000 land and conservation grant from the state of California that funded approximately 37% of the cost of the project, which was $1.8 million. We're also currently applying for an $8.5 million grant through Proposition 68, which is the State of California Parks and Water Bond Act of 2018, to pay for the remainder of the improvements, including rebuilding the recreation center. If we receive the grant, the new recreation center will be approximately 9,700 square feet and will include rock climbing, a study room with computer stations, a kitchen, a cafe area, an event room, a physical activity room for dancing and wrestling, Mr. Lucio, and much more. And then that afternoon, Captain Wes Simmons was sworn in as our new chief of police. Wes has been with us for 24 years, and he truly cares about the community and is going to be an amazing chief. On the 2nd, I attended the senior August birthday celebration, and then later in the day participated in a Southern California Water Coalition strategic planning conference call. Saturday the 3rd, I attended the opening ceremonies for the 15th annual Chino Relay for Life. Interesting information about the relay: over 50 teams raised over $100,000 this year. This year there were 120 survivors and 400 caregivers registered to participate. And since the beginning of the Chino Relay for Life, the Chino teams have raised nearly $3 million and have celebrated more than 3,600 survivors in our community. I want to thank all of those that participated and that make this a very successful event. Our very own Councilman Lucio had a team, and I'm sure he's going to report on that. Then that afternoon, I attended the 90th birthday celebration for former Chino champion owner Alma Combs, which was also very nicely attended. And Carrie Cisneros gave a very, very nice talk with Alma Combs and got him to talk a lot about his history, which was interesting. Sadly enough, our PA system wasn't working so well, but hopefully Carrie was able to get that recorded. And then on Tuesday the 6th, which was last night, I was able to attend a few of the National Night Out parties. And the participation from the fire department, the police department, and the public was really outstanding. So it was very, very heartwarming to see the interaction between our community and our public safety officials. Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Howie.
Thank you, Mayor. As usual, you've been busy, and I attended a number of those same events. So I won't go into detail about each event. Eunice did a nice job of that. On July 18th, I attended the Water Facilities Authority meeting in the morning, and then a Chino DeSalter Authority finance meeting. It was a water day on the 18th. The grand opening at the Preserve, I attended a couple of the grand openings of the new businesses. That was very nice. On the 25th, I attended Chief Comstock's walk. Excuse me. Also, that was on, and then the concert on the lawn at City Hall on the 25th also. Another Water Facilities Authority meeting, the Monte Vista Splash Pad, the CDA board meeting, and Wes Simmons Day on August 1st was an extremely busy day on that particular day. And then, of course, the Relay for Life was always great. It was great to see everybody come out. Pretty warm as usual, but we've had hotter days than it was on that particular day. And then, of course, Al McCombs' 90th birthday. Al is quite a treasure for our community. So what a blessing it is for us. 60 years ago, he decided to make Chino his home, and the knowledge he has and what he's saved for our history is just incredible. And then, of course, National Night Out. Last night, I attended over at the homecoming here. They had a great number of people, a lot of games for the kids. Also, on the great lawn behind the preserve, they had laser tag, a jumper. There was a video game trailer. There was a tremendous amount of participation there. And then I went over to on Boston Avenue in town to the residents at their pool, and they had their little garage band. The homeowners there had their band going, and kids in the pool. It was just a great evening for the neighbors in that area. So that was it. That concludes my comments.
Okay, Councilman Hargrove.
All right, first off, I'll note that we're not throwing baseball signals up here. It's Chino City Bird. So they're all over up here. So, and then thank you to the Preserve Community Center for hosting this. I know I had mentioned long ago that it's nice that when we can get out here. So I know maybe some improvements in our city hall kind of pushed us out here, but I'm glad we made it out here. And then also thank you to I don't know if they're students, but we got some welcome cards from some of the students or children out here. So it's very much appreciated. I'll nail that up somewhere in the house. And, just real quickly, I also attended the chamber events. It was nice. Chino Commercial Bank, fantastic group out there, and congratulations to them. July 19th, I'll point out Mona Houston took over as the California Institution for Men Chino State Prison warden. She's acting at this point, so I'm certain that probably at some point she's going to be tapped and appointed, but that's the whole process of vetting through the governor's office, so we'll see how that goes. She's a terrific lady. I think she's going to do a good job, or we all hope so. And then Chief Comstock's Walk of Honor, again, that was just terrific. Love going to those. And then August 1st, I first attended the Splash Park. I ended up getting there quite early, kind of parked, and what was amazing was all the city staff that were scrambling to get everything in order. It was really appreciated seeing all the things that they were doing and barbecuing and getting things ready for the residents. And then mostly, I was amazed at watching people pull up and unload their pop-up tents, their chairs, their blankets, and all the kids. It was like a day at the beach, you know. They all came running out and waited for us to turn that thing on, and so that was really great watching that. Then we were mobbed. There was hundreds of kids there. Hopefully it's used like that every day. I'm not certain that there's that many kids, but it would be nice. And then attended Chief Simmons' event. That was very nice, as already pointed out. And then went to the Kiwanis at the lawn, Led Zeppelin, I guess it's called.
Yeah.
They were terrific. Man, it was packed there.
Concert.
And they sounded just like Led Zeppelin from the 70s. The only thing I really noticed also was they looked like they were in their 70s. So they're pretty...
And what's wrong with that?
No, nothing wrong with that at all. So they had the music down, so it was
Just
terrific.
saying.
Yeah. And then, let's see, the 3rd, went to the Open Ceremonies Relay for Life. That's the first time I've been there. They've got that down too, and it was a terrific event. Nice to see all the people and all the survivors. Got a chance to hang a medal around their neck, and nice to see those people there. And then also went to Al McComb's 90th birthday party. I do remember most notably when they asked him, "What's your best advice after 90 years?" He made a statement that just make good decisions, which he's probably right on. So I'm glad he noted that. And then Chino Planning Commission on August 5th. Nothing really significantly notable. There's a few approvals for some property to be developed in the preserve area. And then just some general comments. I noticed in the paper, Replanet Recycling has closed all of their sites. I see social media's kind of blown up over that. Like, where do we take our goods? The store has no problem taking your recycling fees, but now where do you go to get them back? So if people do know, there were 3 or 4 sites in Chino. People are saying you can still take them up by the Superior Market on Walnut and Central, so that might be something that we can get out there and maybe people know where to go. And then, since we're not going to have a meeting in the rest of August, I just wanted to point out that Chino Boxing Club Legends Boxing Showcase on August 25th is going to be happening, so you might get out there. You know, if anybody's ever been to the boxing club, that's a terrific organization there too. And then also we'll have Labor Day before our next meeting, so enjoy your Labor Day. And then I'll also send out condolences to all those that were affected by Gilroy, El Paso, and Dayton. These are just, you know, times we live in, and I don't really have an answer myself, but I hope someone comes up with one soon. And then lastly, Madam Mayor, so I was hoping that we can maybe direct staff or look into them, maybe to look at Kimball Avenue out here, whether that's appropriate to keep that as a truck route. Maybe they can give us some recommendations before we get to Scannell coming back to us. I don't know how that's going to go, but I would certainly appreciate if they can give us some insight, whether it's appropriate for Kimball to remain a truck site, maybe a truck route. You know, I hate to put that on them, but I better sooner than later, I think, is my point, and I'm just kind of asking for that.
Sure. So, City. Okay, great.
That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Councilman Lucio.
Yes, on the 18th of July, I attended the Chino Valley Business Awards. It's nice to see that we continue to get more businesses to join that organization, and it continues to grow. I hope that it continues the rest of the year. I know that we swore in a new panel, a new board, so it was good to see some new leadership and see if they can keep the momentum going. On the 19th, I attended the All-American Car Wash ribbon cutting. I also attended the 7-Eleven's grand opening ribbon cutting. On the 22nd of July, I attended the Community Service Commission meeting. They swore in the new board members. It was orientation, so it was good to see the transition. On the 3rd of August, we put together a team for the Relay for Life. It's the first time we did it, and I can tell you that getting there early, setting up around 5 o'clock in the morning, and then about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I was pretty much had heat exhaustion. It was really, really bad, but it was a great event. After I went home and cooled down, I was able to come back around 11 o'clock. But at least we know for next year we need a bigger team. So, and I was trying to convince Mark Hargrove to join in a couple laps, but he kept laughing at me. So
Wouldn't do it.
Maybe next year at night, maybe he'll join us. We did it in memory of my wife's father, Gilbert Fanchin, who died of throat cancer. Then I also participated in on the 5th of the National Night Out at College Park. They actually had 2 locations that had good turnouts. Edinburgh, by far, was the best location I visited. I went over into Mark's district, and they told me the Artesian normally has a good outcome, but Edinburgh had a game truck. It had a bunch of different things. It was really impressive to see everybody out there, and it was good to see the community coming together. I also, since we're not going to have another meeting coming up this month, I just want to remind everybody that on the 10th, City Hall on the Move is going to be at 12013 Central Avenue. It's going to be from 9 to 12 at the Albertsons Shopping Supermarket. It's going to be myself and Councilmember Rodriguez that are going to be there. So if you want to come out and talk to us, let us know your feelings, please come out and let us know. Also, I've been, on the public comment side, I've been getting some emails regarding people's feelings about the FedEx potential project that's going to be built behind the airport. And all I can say is, if you guys feel strongly about it, continue to email me. I've talked to City Manager Matt Ballantyne. He said if you want it on the record and you can't attend the meeting, email me and I'll forward it. If you guys are okay with it, I'll forward it to Angela, our city clerk, and then she can enter it into the record, and we can acknowledge that you're not for that project. And that pretty much has all the comments I have for today.
Okay. Thank you. Councilman Rodriguez.
Okay, thank you. I attended most of the same events as the council, so I'm going to not spend a whole lot of time on those. But starting with July 18th, Thursday, I attended Assembly Members Frederick Rodriguez's town hall, which dealt with Senate Bill, or SB 1, that deals with transportation funding. And in the town hall, it was very interesting because we had individuals and directors from Los Angeles, San Bernardino, and Sacramento who described the different updates that were going to be happening with Caltrans, Metrolink, and the different infrastructures. As we know, billions of dollars was given to the state of California to upgrade some of the infrastructures. I'm going to read a few of the things that SB 1 Transportation deal with. As we know, there is a real housing crisis, and as we build more housing and locate new jobs in the following areas, there will be existing job centers in walkable neighborhoods where homes, jobs, shops, and services are all easily accessible without a car, and near transit stations. Growing in this way allows for shorter trips because grocery store, doctors' offices, and coffee shops are located closer to where people will live and work. To get around, they're focusing in on shorter trips. And for shorter trips, people will be using in the neighborhoods of bicycle networks, car sharing, and micro-mobility. In past council meetings, I've spoken about the EV revolution. In other words, when we look at our TVs, we see these ads on all these electric cars and people on the freeway falling asleep and having their car drive them. Well, I don't think that's very safe, but e-vehicles and e-transportation is very, very real. So we're moving towards that area in the future, in the very near future. There will be van pool, thanks to programs offered by employees and so forth. So there's going to be a lot of demand for different types of services that are going to help us work with transportation as our population here in Chino grows, and also in Southern California. So I'll stop there. There's quite a few more things. But, following July 18th, after this, later in the evening, I attended with the rest of the council the very nice event for the Chino Valley Chamber, the celebration and recognition, and I thought that was very, very good. The chamber has increased by twofold and still increasing. So it's a very positive way to recognize everything that the chamber does in the city of Chino. I too attended on July 25th, Chief Karen Comstock's retirement celebration. And on July 31st with our mayor, I attended the open house for the city of Chino, Chino Boxing Foundation. August 1st, getting up at 4 in the morning, as I do once a month to go out to LA for the SCAG. I want to say that it was very interesting because, as we all know, one of the main issues that SCAG is working with is the RENA options, and they have been mandated by the state to come up with solutions to creating a way to divvy up the RENA amongst cities. So far as I know, Chino is in compliance. The next cycle could be a little bit different. So by November of this year, an option will be chosen by SCAG to determine this, what direction we go. I thought it was very interesting that the executive director, Comey, he says to all of us, he says, you know, as members of SCAGs and all of us as members of city council, we have requirements to the law as stipulated in the law. In other words, when I became a councilman, I took an oath to the state of California to obey all legislation and also to the U.S. Constitution. So we may not like some of the laws that are coming down, but there's some laws, I think, in traffic that we're not always in an agreement with, but we still have to follow them. So I just wanted to mention, this is what our executive director said for SB 101, AB 101, excuse me, for the housing. Okay. August 2nd, Friday, I attended with our mayor the senior birthday celebrations. And on August 3rd, it was very, very nice to be at the Relay for Life. It was the 15th anniversary. Quite a bit of participants, and it was very positive for the city of Chino. Al McCombs, I recall he spoke of the Chino Champion, the old days, and I remember as a boy, I remember the Chino Champion as the post office. And I would walk down there from down the street from 9th Street where I grew up to deliver some mail for the family. On August 6th, I attended the Climate Change Conference in Riverside at the old Mission Inn, and there was representatives from Sacramento, from the county, and they're establishing a coalition, a co-op that will investigate how and the reasoning for climate change, but they also will be looking into wildfires and what cities can do to prevent and curb the fires that I would think we're going to have. We had quite a bit of rain. Hopefully I'm wrong. And one thing they also mentioned was the idea of how cities can apply for grants to buy or to obtain more trees for their cities. So we know that trees also offer a way to give us more oxygen into our atmosphere. And finally, last night, National Night Out was very, very pleasant. We saw very many people. I want to thank my driver, Rodney Lombard, for allowing me to sit in the front seat and on the back. And it was a lot of fun. So that concludes my report.
Okay, Mr. Ballantyne, anything this evening to report?
Yes, a couple items. Again, I want to thank the Preserve community for hosting us, and I also want to thank Community Services Department for helping set up, and Channel 3 folks for also setting up this meeting. Two follow-up items from our last council meeting. One was related to the Ontario Airport. We've had some residents that have expressed some concerns regarding the flight patterns. The mayor has prepared a letter and sent that to the Ontario International Airport Authority. We did get a response back, and so hopefully that'll precipitate some meetings. But I want to thank the mayor for sending that letter. In addition, we had some residents from the last meeting that expressed concerns regarding Foothill Transit Line 497. There's discussion by Foothill Transit to eliminate that line. The mayor also sent a letter in support of those riders. Essentially, there's about 150 riders, 34 of which are Chino residents. I also want to remind folks, particularly down in the Preserve, we're going to continue to host our office hours. Our next set of office hours where staff will be present will be September 5th. It's always on the first Thursday of every month from 6 to 8 p.m. And then finally, again, I want to congratulate Chief Wes Chief, getting back to you because you butchered my name, but Chief Wes Simmons for his appointment as our new chief. That concludes my report.
Mr. Galante, anything this evening?
Just briefly, we continue to monitor some housing bills that continue to be presented. The latest one is to change some of the surplus property rules to mandate that cities authorize housing projects, whether or not they're in the appropriate zones. So to the extent that bill gets any further traction, I'll report to the council. And also wanted to congratulate the chief. That was a really nice swearing-in event last week. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. And now, our new Chief of Police, Wes Simmons, his report. We're expecting a good report this evening.
Well, thank you. I'll try not to disappoint you. I want to thank you all for your support. City Manager Matt Ballantyne for selecting me for this position, and the community. I was blown away last Thursday with just all the support from the community. So thank you all. I'm committed to working very hard for you and for the city to make sure that we continue to keep Chino a safe place to live, work, and play. I also want to thank all of you for your support for National Night Out and for the community coming out to that. Probably our biggest turnout to date. The locations were just filled with families enjoying one another's company, enjoying time with their public safety partners, and to our fire department. They partner so well with us. There was a friendly competition to see how many badge stickers we could get out there, and I'm gonna call it a draw. There were quite a few police officer and fire badges out there, and so thank them for that. And since we're in the Preserve, I just want to thank the Preserve community for their support as well, and let them know that, you know, we've heard the complaints reference some of the traffic issues specifically related to internet-based retail delivery vans, and our patrol officers and our traffic officers are out there regularly trying to educate those people, usually in the form of a traffic citation. And we're making headway, but just know that we take these complaints seriously and are working on it. And if you have any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer those.
Any questions of rest this evening? No? Okay, you're lucky this evening.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, and who do we have here from fire? Oh, Scott.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Thank you for having me up. A few comments. First of all, we want to congratulate Karen on her retirement. And I can tell you that I've been with the fire department for 28 years, and I spent many years working with Karen when I was a fireman paramedic on the street, and she would take care of the calls for us. So greatly appreciated that. Also, we want to thank you for picking Wes. Wes is truly a kind person, and I'm currently in Kiwanis with Wes, and so Wes is well involved in the community, and we enjoy a great relationship, both personally as well as with the department. So we look forward to many years with Wes, and we appreciate all his commitment and his backing of the fire department. So thank you very much. Have a good night.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, and with that, we are adjourning in memory again of Jim Erickson. And our next regular meeting will be held on Tuesday, September 3rd at the City Council Chambers, 7 o'clock with closed session starting at 6 if necessary. And with that, we are adjourned.